Members, are we together on that? The question is saying prove that the time of flight t and,
Yes.
and the horizontal range r of a projectile are connected by the equation gt squared equals to 2r tan what? Tan beta, where beta is the angle of projection. So let's look at that. So they want us to derive hold on a bit. Someone is disturbing. Let me. Okay, let's continue from there. Someone was disturbing my members calling my phone. Because when someone is calling, it will disturb my camera, okay? Okay? So members, please, let's move together. I want people to be responding to me. I don't want to be talking alone. Yes? Steven? Sandra?
Yes, teacher.
Let's look at that question. Solution. So they want us to prove that gt squared is equals to 2r tan what? Tan beta. That's what they want us to prove. So let's start by giving a simple sketch for that. Let's have a sketch of that. Sandra, let me hope you have done correction for the exercise we did yesterday. Have you done correction?
For the last part, I've not yet finished.
You joined in a little bit late, but I was explaining that one. Okay.
I'll explain for me after.
So this angle was given to be what? That angle was given to be beta. Then this is our y. Then this is our what? Our x. But we know that the distance they are talking about is this, which is range. That is our range. And they want us to find the time of flight. So now we have already known. We don't need to move through all these steps again, deriving the range, deriving the time of flight. So you must have the idea how these equations are always written. What is the range? Time of flight is what? Let's say time of flight. Let's start with time of flight. We said time of flight is what? Twice 2 what? 2t. Not so? Where t is equals to u sine what? Now this time is beta. The angle is beta. So which means b2 beta over what? Over d. This implies that our time of flight will be 2u sine beta over d. Okay? What about range? Also range r. What will be the formula? What is the formula for range, members? What is the formula for range? We said range is given by
U squared sine 2 theta over g.
U squared sine. Now the angle this time is beta. Is beta. Don't cram theta every time. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. So sine what? Sine 2 beta over what?
Beta.
Over
g.
Over g. So now they want us to find the relations between these two. Now when you look at what we want to prove, if you look at what we want to prove, we have gt squared equals to 2r tan what? Tan beta. Now when you look at these two equations, where do you think tan will come from? Which means we have first to split this one. We have to take this one back to its original formula. Okay? Okay? Because to get tan, we know that to get tan beta is equals to sine what? Sine beta over what?
Cos beta.
So which means we have to create that condition. From here, the only way we can create it from sine 2 beta. So recall sine 2 beta. We said it's the same as what? From double angles. Is it? 2
sine
beta
beta cos beta.
cos beta from double angles. Not so? So which means now we shall now take back our range. Our R will be equals to 2u squared. Okay? 2u squared sine beta cos what? Beta over what? Over G. Over what? Over G. Now let's call this one our star 1. Let's call this one our star 2. Now, if we look, we want t squared. Where do you think we can get t squared from, members? Which means t squared must come from the time of flight. Not so? Are you following me?
Yes.
Because here is I'm seeing t squared, so you must reason logically. So t squared, where can I get t squared from these two expressions? I can get t squared only from the time of flight, which means how can I get t squared here? By squaring the first equation. By squaring the first what? Equation. So squaring star 1, which means we shall have t, which is equals to, so we shall have t squared equals to 2u beta, but what? But squared over g squared. Not so? Are we together? Sandra, are we together?
Yes.
So which means when I square that, I will have t squared equals to this now will give me what? This will give me 4. Not so? Will be 4 u what? U squared.
U squared sine squared beta.
Beta over g what? Squared. Now here is dt squared. Where do you think, which means I have to cross multiply here. So this is the same as over 1. So when I cross multiply, it will give me t squared, g what? G squared equals to 4 u squared sine u squared what? Sine squared what? Beta.
Beta.
So let me open my page bit. So the expression was t squared g squared equals to 4 u squared sine squared what? Sine squared beta. That's the expression we have. But if you recall, if you remember very well, our r is equals to, our r is what? 2u squared
2u squared
sine what?
sine beta cos beta
over what?
over G.
So which means I will also make this one, I will also cross multiply that to give me r what? R what? R g equals to 2u squared sine beta cos what? Cos beta. Are you together? Are we together?
Yes.
So now what we shall do, because now we want to create tan. How can we create tan now here, Sandra? How can we create tan there? Here is it sine cos. Here we have sine squared beta. So how can we create cos squared now? How can we create tan there? So our equation,
I think by dividing cos beta.
we have this. Those are the two equations now we have. Are you seeing that? So if I want to create tan there, what should I do?
I think you divide by cos beta.
Let's say this is equation 1. This is equation what? Equation 2. So what should we do? So we should say equation 1, okay? Equation what? 1 divided by equation what?
2.
Divided by equation 2. Why do we do that? Because we want to create tan. So which means I will have t squared, g squared, divide by r what? R g equals to 4 u squared sine squared beta divided by 2 u squared sine beta cos what? Cos beta. Are we together? You see that this g will reduce that one. Then we remain with t squared g over what? Over r. Not so? Equals to this 4, this 2 will reduce that 4, so which means we remain with 2. This u squared will go with that u squared. Then we remain with, then this sine square will reduce, this sine will reduce this sine squared. Then we remain with 2 sine beta over
cos beta.
Over cos beta. Which means t squared g over r, which is equals to, this is what? That is tan. So which means it will be 2
tan beta.
Tan beta. Now to make it the way they want. So what do? Therefore, t squared
cross multiply.
We cross multiply equals to 2r what? 2r tan what? Beta. Have you seen it? Yes, that's a matter of analyzing the equation so that you can. Tomorrow they may say cot. Tomorrow they may say what? Cot. So what are you going to do? So which means you just alter this equation. Should be equation 2 divided by equation what?
1.
Equation 1. As simple as that. They may put very many expressions. You know, you have seen it from trigonometry. We can play around with these trigonometric functions or identities, and we can have many as possible. Okay? Yes. Another question, which is not on the screen, but I want to share with you. Let me get the question here. Let me get it from the question bank here. Sandra?
Yes, teacher.
Let me get the question here from the question bank, okay?
Yes.
Then I share with you. Let me write it here. This is now question number 2. So they're saying 2, write the question down, 2 footballers, 120 meters apart, stands facing each other, facing each what? Other, full stop. One of them kicks the ball. From the ground, such that the ball takes off. The ball takes off at a velocity of 30 meters per second. At a velocity of 30 meters per second at 38 degrees to the horizontal. Full stop. Are we together on that one, remember? Stephen?
Please, teacher.
Stephen, your network has started disturbing you again. You are on and off. Sandra?
Yes.
Have you written that?
Yes.
Now, they want us to find Find the speed. Find the speed at which. Find the speed at which the second footballer. The second footballer must run towards the first footballer, must run towards the first footballer in order is a long question, but it's easy. In order to trap or to catch the ball. Stephen, I believe you play football. Sandra has told me she has never played netball even. Hey, Sandra, now which sport do you engage in always?
Nothing.
Okay. So for you, your rule is academics only. If he starts running, at the instant the ball is kicked. Full stop. It's a long question, but very easy. As long as sometimes I always say that long questions are very easy to do them because they will give you all the information you need to answer the question. But short questions, sometimes they disturb because you have to analyze the question well, you have to bring so many assumptions. But this one now, you see, is very long, but everything has been given to you. So that's a matter of applying the concept. So let's go through the question once again. What have they said? The two footballers are 100 meters apart, and they are standing facing each other. One of them kicks a ball from the ground, which means that this time the ball is at the ground level, such that the ball takes off at a speed. So they have given us the initial velocity. The initial velocity was given to be 30, so which means the ball must be inclined. The angle of elevation of the ball should be 38 degrees. To the horizontal. Find the speed at which the second footballer must run towards the first one. So now, in your understanding, assuming this was your net, your first lecture with this question in net, what are you supposed to do in this question? Because now remember the keyword here that's saying find the speed at which the second footballer must run towards the first footballer in order to catch the ball as it touches the what? As it touches the ground. So what do you understand by that? As it touches the ground. Which means as it is touching the ground, which means you must find the time of flight. The time of what? Flight. Yes, because now the ball is now reaching the ground level. So you have to find the time taken from the point of projection up to the ball where the ball will land. After getting that, what else do you need? What else do you need? You also need the range. You also need the what? You also need the range. Then after getting that, what? Now just to find the speed of the second ball. So we just get the what? The time taken and the speed, and the range. And the what? And the range. So let's look at that. Let's sketch that. We are here. So let's assume this is the first footballer is here. This is the first footballer. He kicks the ball like that. Let's assume the second footballer is somewhere here. This is where the second footballer is. So they're telling us the second footballer must run toward, which means the ball will not, the distance must be, the range must be less than 120, because the second footballer must run towards that point. I think that. So this is our range. So this is where the ball will land. Let's call this point. This is A, this is B, then this is point what? Point C on the level ground. So the first footballer is at point A, and the ball was kicked at the initial speed or at initial velocity of, what's the initial velocity? 30, U is equals to 30 meters per second. So we know that this is U is going to be U sine, the angle here was given to be 38 degrees, so sine of 38 degrees. So this one will be U cos 38 degrees. This one we already know then. So the most important thing here, we have to find the time of what? Flight. So time taken from the ball to reach from point A to point B. Because if they were saying that this person, the second footballer need not to run, which means the range would be what, members? What will be the range? The range would be 100 and what? Would be 120 meters. But now since the system that telling us the second footballer must run towards the first footballer in order to catch the ball or to trap the ball, which means the range must be less than 120. That's why I've sketched mine like that. Okay? Are you together? Members, are we together?
Yes.
So we said int for the first footballer, the time taken for the ball, for the ball to touch the what? To touch the ground is the what? That time is what? Is the time of what? Is the time of? Is the time of
8.
flight. So let's get the time of flight. The time of flight is given by
2 U sine
what? 2 what?
Sine 38.
So the sine theta, out of where we can say our theta is what? Our theta is 38 degrees, okay? Over what? Over G. So T, which is equal to 2U sine theta out of what? G. So Stephen.
Yes, teacher.
Another thing also I've seen that in physics, we use acceleration due to gravity, you must use 9.81. 9.81 meters per second what? Squared. Don't use 9.8. 9.8 we normally use it for mathematics. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. In physics you use 9.81. Or you can use it direct from your calculator. I remember telling you how to express that constant direct from your calculator. Acceleration due to gravity is number 35 among the constant. So I will show you how to press that. So let's make the substitution. So T is equals to our 2 times, what's our initial speed, which is what? 30 sine of 38 degrees divided by 9.81. Therefore, our time taken will be, let's press that. So we have members? Sandra?
Yes, teacher.
What have you got?
Yes, teacher.
What have you got?
I'm still pressing.
Press for me that. So this one will give us 2 times 30 sine of 38 degrees divided by constant.
I've got 3.7655.
You got 3.7655.
3.7655.
Like mine there, not so?
Yes.
3 point. What about Stephen? Stephen, is that what you have got?
Yes.
3.7 what?
655.
655. Chafa, you have 67.
Yes. Yes, because for me I've used G. I've not used 9.8. Okay, let me use 9.81. So 2 times 30 sine of 38 divided by 9.81. You get that? No, sir? I think that
Yes.
3.7. I said you must write your answers to at least how many significant figures. So this is 7 what? 7, 6, 5, 5. Okay? Okay. This is how many decimal places? 4
4.
decimal places. Because the higher the number of decimal places, the more accurate your value is. Okay? So that's the time of flight. That's the time of flight.
Light.
Okay, what else do we need? What else do we need? We need the range. We need the what? The range.
The range.
We need the range, the distance AB. Distance AB. So let's find the range. Range. R is going to be, what is going to be the formula for range is what? U squared sine what? Sine 2 theta over G. So can you make the substitution? So it implies that our 2 theta will be what? Our 2 theta will be 2 times 38 degrees, which is 76 degrees. Therefore, 2 theta is equal to 76 degrees. Why do you do that? Many of you make mistake always here. So it implies that our R will be equals to 30 squared sine. Now don't make again of putting 2 because I've already got 2 theta is already here. So just put sine of 70 what? Sine of 76. Divide by 9.8, 9.81. So what do you get there? What do you get there? So I have 30. So 30, sorry, not 30 degrees. 30 squared. 30 squared. Sine of 76 divided by 9.81. What do you get? Is 80 what? 89 point. Sandra, what have you got? 0.018. 1 what? 17. 18. Good. What? Meters. Meters. This one we have written to how many decimal places? To 3.
3 dp.
3 dp. Now, because when you look at the question was very clear. The question is asking for the speed through which the first footballer must run toward the first second footballer in order to trap the ball as it touches the ground. So now we have got the range. We have got the range here. So which means what we want is this distance here. We want BC. We want what? B what? BC. But we know the distance. We know distance AC we know, which is 120 meters. AB we have already got, which is our range. So now we can get distance BC. So which means distance B what? BC must be equals to A what? AC minus A what? Minus A what? AB. Members, are we together? So BC.
Yes.
What is our AC? AC was what? 120 minus AB, which we have just got, which is 89.018 meters. So what do you get? What do you get?
30.982.
Easy? You started, eh? 30.982 what? Meters.
82.
That's the distance. That's the what? The distance. But the question is asking for the speed. The question is asking for the speed. The question is asking for what? Speed. So we know that speed is equals to distance over what?
Over time taken.
Over time taken. What will be this time? What will be the time taken? Time taken will be time of what? Will be time of flight. That's why we have to get it fast because
Time
we
of
want
flight.
to find this time I think that you have to find what? We wanted to find that distance first. So our speed will be equal to, what's the distance? The distance BC is what? 30.82 divided by the time of flight. What was our time of flight? What was our time of flight, please? Our time of flight was
3.7655 seconds.
3.7 what?
7655 seconds.
7655, right? Was that one? Let me check. Good, is the one. So what do you get after calculating that? What do you get? So our speed will be equals to, so 30.982 divided by 3.7655. What do you get? The speed is what? 8.2 8.227
8.22